Action. Okay, welcome to the April FCC Safety Meeting. We are recording this because of the COVID-19. I just want to say a few words about the challenges that we're facing these days. First, I want to give a couple good things about what we're facing, and one is there's a lot less traffic. We've had a lot of drivers come in and mention that, you know, they're getting from point A to point B a lot faster. There's not cars that are out there bothering them, so that's one upside. The other side is inspections. We're not getting hardly any inspections. In the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 inspections. We did have one driver that was pulled into a scale, and he thought, what the heck did I do? And the scale inspector came out and handed him a Subway sandwich and a bottle of water, which I thought was really nice. You all have heard this a million times about the general criteria that you need to do to deal with this pandemic. You know, make sure you wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and warm water. Avoid touching your face. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, or, you know, cough or sneeze into your elbow. And the CDC now says that you should wear a mask. Avoid close contact with people. Stay 6 foot away if at all possible. And if you're not feeling well, mention it to somebody. We'll get you home, or you're going to have to, you know, self-quarantine someplace else. But make sure, you know, you do mention it to us if you're not feeling well. You do need to clean and sanitize your truck daily. You can buy disinfectant cleaners, or you can make your own disinfectant by using a spray bottle with a mixture of 4 teaspoons of bleach to 1 quart of water. And then make sure you wipe down your truck, especially the door handles and the steering wheels, and have sanitizer at your reach once you get back in your truck. I am concerned about the amount of time that drivers are basically quarantined to their trucks. Normally you'd be able to wander around a truck stop or a convenience store, sit down, relax, have a cup of coffee or a meal. You can sit and visit with others or just people watch. That's kind of not happening now. So when you get to a shipper or a receiver, they usually tell you just stay in your truck. They won't let you go into the driver's lounge. Lots of them aren't letting you use their restroom. Excuse me. The truck stops, a lot of them close their showers, which is not a good thing. And they tell you to pretty much get in and get out when you're at these truck stops. So I do encourage you, when you are stopped, to get out and walk around if you can. Of course, still use your social distancing and keep a safe distance from others. But you need to get out and get some fresh air and not just stay sequestered in that truck. So that's all I have. Next up is Tim.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take this opportunity to, like we did here a couple weeks throughout the last safety meeting, is to jump in, kind of give you an update on what FCC's been doing, what we're currently doing, and possibly some things that we're going to be doing in the future. As of today, and this changes almost by the minute, there are currently 635 confirmed cases in Nebraska, with 15 deaths. And I think Iowa, typically what I've seen, has been about double what Nebraska has. So obviously we've been fortunate compared to some of the other states, that's for sure. A record number of employees have been filing for unemployment. And just to give you an idea on that, there were 6.6 million that filed this past week, bringing it to a 3-week total of 6.78 million people have filed for unemployment insurance. And as a point of reference, when we went through the 2008-2009 Great Recession, over that 2-year period, it was a total of 8.7. So obviously we're seeing unemployment that we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen it in my lifetime. But the good thing about this, well, if there's a good thing about this, but this is more of a medical crisis and not an economic crisis. So the majority of these jobs that have been lost, they expect to regain them as soon as the pandemic is over. So that's good news. We put out some information about the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act, as well as the Emergency FMLA Expansion Act. Both of those were part of a stimulus package put out by our government. Those went into effect on April 1. And basically the Paid Sick Leave Act provides 10 days of paid time off for people dealing with COVID-19, whether it's a personal illness or staying at home to take care of somebody with the illness, staying at home to take care of children because schools are out. So if you have any questions on that, please contact HR so we can help you and help identify whether you might qualify for that in the event that you get into a situation like that. Part of that, in addition to that, if you're quarantined, which we have had a number of people that have been quarantined by their medical professional, they would fall into that category. Now, this sick leave pay does require some paperwork, so please consult us on that so we can, let you know what you'll need to provide to us to receive that benefit. Just, I guess, moving on to a little bit about what's going on here at FCC. Truck deliveries, we have been getting new trucks in. That's probably going to slow down here shortly, as most of the manufacturing plants across the country have shut down due to the coronavirus. So we hope that this isn't a long-term thing. Some of the stuff had already been of ours has been already manufactured, so we'll continue to probably bring in trucks over the next month or so, but there's probably going to be a lag after that from the time that the United States gets cranked up again before we start getting other trucks back. And that also too is going to affect our trailer deliveries. We do have some brand new flatbeds on the ground being in serviced, but I believe, Eric, maybe you can touch on it when you get up here, but I think we've received 9 new flatbeds, but I think the other 7 are going to be delayed because they're closed and not manufacturing. So I believe a lot of the plants are just manufacturing parts and replacement parts at this point. They're not doing any new construction. And an update on what we're doing. We have approximately 124 office and shop employees, and just to let you know, we have approximately 25 people that are actually working from home. So it's not half, it's not 2/3, it's roughly 30%. So we're still fully staffed. We do have a couple people off being quarantined, but also we have not had a positive case, I don't believe, associated with FCC yet. So that's been very good. We continue to have the Fremont shop locked down to the outside, both to vendors, and obviously it's going to affect your access to the lower level. That's for your protection. It's for our technicians' protection. So continue to just contact them from the driver's lounge upstairs. And I know it's inconvenient, but again, it's to try to keep everybody safe. So don't take it personal. The last thing I've got is we've received a lot of questions on hand sanitizer, masks, gloves. I think there's different states that are doing some different things now where we're trying to get a hold of these products to distribute. It's been difficult up to this point because there's been a mad run on them. But some good news is we We've located or obtained a 50-gallon drum of hand sanitizer. We expect to have that hopefully by Tuesday of next week. We do have some rubber gloves on site, some latex, surgical type gloves. And then the last thing is we're waiting on an order of, I think it's about 1,000 masks that I believe it's tentatively scheduled to arrive on Tuesday of this next week. So as soon as we have those, we'll get word out to you to let you know you can start picking them up at the, hopefully we'll probably have it in both Council Bluffs and Fremont, so you can get those supplies in your hands. So last but not least, just like Ann said, be safe, continue to do all the things that the CDC recommends. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, try to keep a distance like we are practicing right now, and just be safe, take care of your families, take care of yourself, and we'll get through this hopefully sooner rather than later. Thanks.
You want to go? Want me to go? All right. Going to talk a little bit about freight. I've taken a lot of questions over the past week. Normally, one of the things that we do really, really, really well here is we have I don't want to call it a crystal ball, but just between customer communication, what they're talking about, our salespeople are out harvesting that information, customer service managers talking to customers, and it kind of gives us an idea of kind of where we're headed over the next 5 to 10 days. And I've taken some calls this week, what are you hearing about freight? And, the first part of the week, we went through this weird little bump, and we always joke about it. The first week of April is always a little weird when you come off of a very busy March, and March was an exceptionally busy March. Our normal volume plus some surge from some of our customers. And then there's typically a little bit of a downtick, and Tuesday morning, we were sitting around here kind of scratching our head going, man, is this a long-term thing? Is this a short-term thing? And holy cow, is it short-term? We went from scratching our head to how are we going to cover all this in a matter of 48 hours? So right now, from what we're hearing and looking at actual numbers, load count, driver availability, we're pretty busy. And I'd love to be able to say, hey, the whole month of April is going to be like this. I just honestly don't know that. We hope to be. We're hearing that we're going to be, but every day is a new adventure, and every day is a new discussion. So just know that we're trying very hard to stay extremely busy and not really have a fall off. What allows us to do that, and I know every time we do one of these, and I always harp on service. I can't tell you in the last 2 weeks, really 3 weeks, and Guy can touch on this when he comes up next. Our level of service and the on-time percentage, the quality of the equipment, the quality of the drivers, that is what is helping us right now. There's a lot of sitting trucks. I came to work this morning and noticed, and I don't know if anybody else who drives from Omaha noticed this, but there was 5 or 6 trucks parked on the exit ramp by the Love's truck stop in Valley, and that's on a Friday morning. There's already overflow parking. That's not a good sign for things going on outside our walls. But we're very busy, and we plan to stay that way. But the only way we can maintain that position is continue to provide the service that you always have. You guys are the ones that are making it a lot easier for us to go to customers and call in some favors and say, hey, I need 5 more loads, I need 10 more loads, I need this, I need that. We don't get a lot of pushback. If our service wasn't very good and we were like everybody else, it'd be a bigger challenge. So appreciate everything that you're doing there. Want to emphasize when I say on-time service, drive legally, keep it safe, that what you're doing is really helping. Only other thing I wanted to touch on here quick was Tim's comment about van trailers. Van trailers have been a hot commodity for us for quite a while. We were expecting a mid-April delivery of 100 new trailers. Because of manufacturing due to COVID-19, that has been pushed back 2 weeks. So we're looking at probably, first week of May, second week of May delivery, Tim? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So When those come, they're going to be hot to get here. We're going to get them here quick. We're going to get them in service quick and try to cut down on this trailer chasing that we've been doing for a really long time. And we know that's very frustrating at times for everybody, but there's some light at the end of that tunnel. Last thing I'll touch on is the fleet-wide messages that we've been sending, and Tim mentioned in his talk. We get information thrown at us constantly, and some of it, just today, we sent out a note about the state of Utah, and that was confusing, and how does it work, and can you do it on your phone? Well, then you have drivers that don't have smartphones, they have flip phones, or they don't have an email account. So we've been kind of juggling through that. I think we had 47 drivers that were going to be impacted through the weekend, and it's just an Easter thing with Utah. It's all they care about is who's showing up today through Monday, and then it's all over and done with. But we've been navigating that, so we get that information out. New Jersey, literally right before I walked in here, New Jersey has now declared that everyone that gets out of their truck, or anybody gets out of is out in public, has to have some type of face covering, cloth face covering. But they mention gloves, but they don't give any real directive on what that means. Is it latex gloves? Is it this? We read the whole governor's order, and it says nothing about the word latex. So as far as we're concerned, a pair of cloth gloves works just fine. Like I know, especially with some flatbedders, a lot of the Kawasaki guys, you guys already have work gloves. As far as we're concerned, and everything we've read, that will suffice. So, but as we continue to get that information from different states, sometimes it's not just states, it's individual cities. We'll pass that information along. Sometimes in mass, if it's going to affect a big group of people, if it's smaller, like the Utah thing we put out today, we isolated that message just to the drivers who were going to be impacted by going to Utah. So anyway, if you hear things, I've gotten some emails from safety that they heard this. If you hear something out on the road, absolutely pass that information on, because we try to keep our ear to the ground on everything, but it's not always possible to catch everything with all the constant changes. But call it in, let us look into it, and if there's something that needs to be communicated, we'll do that. So other than that, thanks. Yep.
Could you cover one more thing?
I can.
So with freight, you said freight's busy.
Yep.
We don't know what it's going to be like over the next 30 days.
Correct.
But we'll handle layovers and things like that like we typically do, right? Our effort obviously is to not lay anybody over.
Correct.
But in the event that we do,
We're obviously normally extremely fortunate. We don't really run into a lot of layover situations, but nothing about this pandemic or this crisis is going to change our philosophy on that when it comes to layover compensation for lost time. We're not changing anything like that. We had, like I said, I mentioned earlier in the week, Tuesday was just a rough day. One particular division suffered more than any other, and we paid some layover here for 4 people that sat in Nebraska. Not ideal, not what we want to do, but we're not asking people to take a financial hit on this. We want to keep you whole. That's the goal, and we realize it's not ideal, and that's not what people want to do. And I've been doing this for 21 years. I have yet to meet a driver that says they would prefer to sit in their truck and not work and get paid for it as opposed to driving. We're aware of that. We try to be fair with that policy, and we'll look at every single one of them when it happens, just as before. So nothing changed there. Anything else?
thank you, Eric.
No, thank you.
Good luck.
Hi, everyone. I'm still optimistic as well with the state of our freight, and wanted me to mention something before I forget, that we are making sure that all of the loads that we handle are essential. So that's being taken care of here internally. We have been talking to customers, and most of them are saying that the volumes are steady, some are inflated. We're actually even seeing some new opportunities and being awarded some new opportunities as well. We do have one customer who closed. They did not close due to sales. It was actually due to the domestic suppliers not being able to get them parts for them to, for the customer to finish or make the finished product. So we're hoping that they get back up and running here in a couple weeks, but that's the only customer that we've had that has closed so far. We have had another pretty good sized shipper here locally that has slowed down a little bit. Their customers are saying that they need to put some of their projects on pause, but they do feel that the volume's going to pick up again here fairly soon. As far as bids, we're through the bid season. We had a pretty good bid season. Bid results are coming back, and we're hanging on to all of the business that we wanted to hang on to, and all the volumes are still there. That's really all I have. Yeah, I wish I could predict what's going to happen here in the next couple weeks, but I can't. I think we're going to be busy here for the next couple weeks, but beyond that, it's hard to say at this point.
Most of your customers have been giving you good feedback based on the product that we haul for them, right?
We're very fortunate to be handling the products that we do handle. The feedback is positive from them. Like I said, the volumes are steady, and we're even being told that volumes are going to increase here soon, and we're going to be relied on to help move that additional volume. So, I don't want to get too optimistic, but I do think we're in pretty good shape.
I think the main message is let's not worry about anything until we've got something to worry about.
Yeah, that's good.
And right now with freight, we don't have that much to worry about.
Today, as we stand here today, we're in pretty good shape. Next week is already looking pretty good. I talked to Eric before we came in here. The volumes look good in all 4 divisions. So, yeah, as we stand today, we're in pretty good shape.
And we'll continue to update with these type.
Yeah, yep. I did it last week, and I can come in again next week and update you guys again.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Now on to Brian for the real safety meeting.
Hello, everybody. Had some great information shared with us here from everybody this morning here, or a few minutes ago. And now we're going to talk about our CSA scores and analytics, and we're going to go through some videos. So you just got to bear with us here, and then Dan will get started, and we'll go through them. All right, if you go back one there, Dan, just perfect. So here it looks like our unsafe driving is just ticked up just a little bit, but we're doing fairly good across the board here on our CSA scores. Our crash indicator is going down. Hours of service compliance is going down. Vehicle maintenance is ticking up just a little bit, and then drugs and alcohol and driver fitness are remaining still at 0. So if we look at the hard numbers, and comparing with the chart from last month to the month prior, looks like we went from a 16 to an 18 in unsafe driving. So like I said, pretty much a washout there. Crash indicator, we went from an 18 to a 14, which is fantastic, right? Any decrease, we'll take it. Hours of service compliance, we went from a 21 to a 20, again a decrease. And then vehicle maintenance from a 30 to a 32. So we'll call that pretty much a wash across the board. And then I guess as well as drugs and alcohol and driver fitness, we've remained at a 0. So keep up the good work. We appreciate it. So last month we had 4 violations in unsafe driving. 2 of them were 6 to 10 over speeding. One of them was failure to obey a traffic control device, like running a scale. Most likely that's the culprit of that. And one of them with an unlawful parking, which means that we parked either on a ramp or we parked in a location that was not allowed, and they came by and told us to move and wrote us up for it. Crash indicator here. Again, we had no DOT recordable crashes. And just a reminder, what is a DOT recordable crash? It's if there's an injury, a fatality, or a tow away of anybody involved in the accident. We had 0 of those. So great job. Keep up the good work there. Hours of service compliance. Okay, so we were looked at 24 times last month. 23 of them were clean. We had 1 violation. Driver not trained for onboard device. Now, what does that mean? you know, we talked about that, and as you know, we cover that very well with everybody, and we've been doing electronic logs here for a good part of 10 years, if not better. I think we're going to chalk that up to the officer not really wanting to be patient with our driver and willing to understand him. So, you know, we tried to data queue it and we got shot down, but we're just going to, sometimes you got to take a hit to go on, and our driver did nothing wrong in this instance. So we'll just take it and move on. Vehicle maintenance. Last month we got looked at 7 times. You know, it's been down a little bit here. And why? Because probably all the stuff that's going on around us, you know, that's been going on for about a month now, give or take. You know, they're not doing a lot of inspections. But the good news is we had 6 clean inspections out of the 7 times. And then that other one-time inspection got us 2 out-of-service violations from the same driver. 1 for tires and 1 for lights. So make sure that you're just keeping a constant eye on. When you get your fuel, do your walk around. Don't just put fuel in and get back out of there. You know, get out, stretch your legs, put your lights on, look at your tires, check your oil if need be. You know, just make sure everything's in the up and up. That way, if something is not, you're at a truck stop that can get you taken care of right away. All right, drugs and alcohol. We were looked at 18 times last month, and we had 100% clean inspections. Great job. Driver fitness, same thing. 18 times we were looked at, and 100% clean inspections. Great job. All right, so work comp. We had no incidents last month, okay? That's fantastic news. Let's keep that up. You know, we're making the transition here in the most parts of the country from winter to spring. Hopefully that keeps continuing to go that way. So now, you know, we're going to switch from looking at icy parking lots and snow to now maybe potholes, you know, that always causes that usually in the thaw, but in the spring, you know, the thaw spring, but the spring thaw, there we go. I finally spit it out. Apologize. But just watch out for those. You never know. But they pop up every now and then, and just be aware of your surroundings. All right, so when we look at our Lytx camera data here, you know, when we look at following distance, man, we, for the past, 3-4 months, we've cut down on our following distance, and we have a trend downward from last month as well. That's fantastic news. You know, we all know that it's not easy to be out there, and we're trying to get around the trucks and to pass them. But thank you guys for doing a good job improving on that, right? We'll take it. We would like to see the continued downward. When you look at the speed violations, we have started the trend of going up here in the past 2-3 months, okay? We need to work on those. So do us a favor, please. Match those speed limits. I know that you guys are not on every road all the time, or you have not traveled every road out there. But you know what? Just scan the road, pay attention. If you see it, slow down in advance, okay? If it pops on you, get on the brakes like you need to slow down to the speed limit. We just don't want you guys getting a speeding ticket. You guys work way too hard for your money out there, okay? Late response. Guess what? That is pretty fantastic. That means that we're scanning the road out there in advance, okay? We are in a downward trend for that for probably in the last 4, 5, 6 months there. We've been doing fantastic with it, okay? Thank you. We don't want to see any rear end accidents. But you know what? We're going in the right direction, so keep it up. And then other violations, we've pretty much stayed the same with other violations. You know, and one of the things that they categorize in the other violations is when you're coming to a stoplight, how it has the white lines across the road there for the pedestrians to walk across. If we even get close to that or we stop just right past it, it tags us for it, you know. And for the most part, you guys are doing a fantastic job and stopping. When you're coming up, you see the yellow, you're stopping, and just keep an eye out too for pedestrians. But as long as you're stopping, I'm okay with that. Okay? Keep up the good work. All right, now I'm not going to go into details on this category here, right? I kind of grouped the ones I really wanted to cover in the 4 or 5 panel one that we just talked about, and here's everything else. But I tell you what I will say about this. If you look at Marches coming across from February, honestly, we've pretty much stayed about the same. We've increased in a few categories like our near collisions. But one of the things that we are on a trend that I'd like to get stopped is the failed to stop, okay? You know, listen, I know we're in a hurry and I know you're trying to beat the traffic, but we've got to stop completely at the stop signs. It doesn't mean a California stop, just to stop and go. You know, a lot of the times when you get in a hurry, you don't visualize the vehicles that are coming from the opposite way. Could possibly do a collision, right? We want you to be safe out there. So let's work together on that and see if we can't get that fail to stop down, okay? But other than that, keep up the good work, okay? You guys are doing a fantastic job out there, and we appreciate it. All right, so the 3 takeaways that I'd like to send you guys out with for this month here is our scored events are rising, meaning that we're having more incidents that are going on with the camera, right? We have room that we can improve on this, room to improve on this, and to be aware of our surroundings as well, right? If we're aware of our surroundings and we're not following close and we pay attention to who's in front of us or beside us, that will prevent us from getting into an accident, okay? The crash indicator, we've had 2 months now straight with no DOT recordable crashes. Again, that's an injury, fatality, or towaway. Keep it up. That's fantastic news. And then vehicle maintenance. Hey, we need to continue to pay attention and catch the items before we drive. The tires, the lights, you know, anything that's out there. You know, if you got an exhaust leak, your windshield wipers, your horn, just make sure you keep the contact on that and get with the truck shop if you need anything so we get it fixed up so you can do the best job you can do. Okay? All right, we're going to go past that. All right, so tentatively, the next meeting is set for May 9th at 9 o'clock in the training center here in Fremont. Now, that's our goal. We're going to assess it usually probably the week before of that first week in May to see how things are progressing with this COVID-19, and hopefully we continue to get some good news with that the deaths are down and that everybody continues to improve. So thank you for doing your part out there for us. Now we're going to switch to some videos here. This is a great job by James Newsom for avoiding this accident. So great job, James. Did you guys catch that? We're going to watch that one more time.
Maybe.
Just go see if the arrow will go back. There you go. There. Perfect. This one here, man, this was crazy. Look at this left lane and how close. Look at that. There was a car going the wrong way on the interstate. The pickup in front of him did a fantastic job avoiding the accident, but was super close. And James did a fantastic job as well as scanning the road and trying to get over to avoid that. So, great job. All right, here, not sure what we got going on here. This one here is where a car in the left lane, watch behind that car. Our driver was just driving along and was able to push the button. Something fell off this car. We don't know what it is, but it could have impacted us or somebody else, and thank God it didn't. And there it goes. Almost looks like an injection seat, but they definitely lost something, and it was pretty substantial in size. So you just never know what you come up against. All right, so here we have a collision. This took place here. Man, we did everything right here. The driver did nothing wrong, but check this collision out here, what this car did. We're in the proper lane just to go underneath the interstate to take a left. And this car decides to take a left going the wrong way on the exit ramp to enter the interstate. So you could look at this a couple different ways and go, oh man, they were so foolish, right? They took that left. But luckily, we were there for the accident in this point. Nobody got hurt, but we potentially saved a huge accident of somebody getting on the interstate the wrong way. So this was something a little bit minor. Again, this was the other driver's fault. But again, you just never know. Some people just maybe they weren't aware of their surroundings.
And luckily we had camera to back that up.
And absolutely. And luckily we had a camera to back it up to say that we did not cause the accident. Very good point. All right, so this next one here is failed to slow down. So you can see in this video the car's got his brakes on and then it's slowing down again. And we don't slow down till the very last second just to go around them. So this would be a good opportunity on this one here to make sure that we're scanning the road in front of us and to watch out for that. Okay? Now, this next one here is a great job by Aldous Berry in 1289 for avoiding an accident as well. So, great job. We're doing about 61 miles an hour. And this pickup here, that was pretty close. He was in a rush and in a hurry to get around. You know, he couldn't get off there. But it looks like on the side there, he was more focused of the fire truck. And it looks like maybe a medical issue or a small incident. But we could have had another incident and then possibly injured one of the rescue workers or somebody on the shoulder if we would have connected there. So, great job, Aldous. We appreciate it. So this one here is a great job again, you know, with from David Dunstan. He did a fantastic job avoiding an accident here as well. We're cruising along about 58 miles an hour. And this car just, for some reason, thinks they're coming over into our lane and didn't see us. But they needed to be in that left lane for whatever reason. But great job, David, for scanning the road and being aware of your surroundings and watching that so we don't have an issue. Next one is a great job by Greg Holbert for avoiding an accident here. Cruising down the interstate, looks at about 68 miles an hour. Go to get in our lane, and then there's somebody else trying to get over into pickup. Now, watch this over, and Greg did a fantastic job. Greg was in the lane first, and then the pickup didn't see him. But Greg did a great job of avoiding that and coming back into his lane, slowing down and hitting his brakes, so there was not an incident. So great job, Greg. We appreciate that. Keep up the good work. All right, so this next one here is a great job from Sylvester Brooks, avoiding this accident. So we're cruising down here, reducing our speed 30-some miles an hour, and then this car feels that they just need to cut over right in front of us because they're in a hurry. So, great job there, Sylvester. You did a great job scanning the road and being aware of your surroundings and slowing down with the traffic that is stopped around us. So good job there. This one here was a near collision at a red light. Holy cow. Man, this was a close call. Very close call. The light is red. We are not slowing down. The car stopped in front of us, and then we go out into an intersection that has, green lights the opposite direction. This had a major collision written all over it. Thank God we did not have it, but we need to be aware of our surroundings, scan for the lights ahead of us, and be prepared to stop rather than go through, okay? So thankfully nobody was hurt here, no accident, no incident, but boy, it sure was close. All right, so we talk about U-turns and stuff, and now we're going to watch a driver here that made a U-turn. For whatever reason, he couldn't go straight or take a right, and was in an unfamiliar area. But here, you know, his light is red. Everybody else's is green, and we're making a U-turn here. So make sure that we don't make our U-turns, right? We are going to have to take a left or a right, go down, turn around, find a better location to get us to come back, okay? But no U-turns, on a public highway or roadway. And if you miss your turn, don't be backing up as well, right? That's unsafe. You don't know who's behind us. So with that being said, I just want to touch one last time. Thank you guys out there and gals for doing a fantastic job for us, being safe. We're going to get you those safety supplies, let you know when those are here. And we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Happy Easter, everybody.